Family means everything to me. Every major decision, from going to college to doing well at school to educating myself on current events to making friends and to succeeding in my jobs, has been influenced by my family. It sounds weird, I'm aware, for someone to be so obligated, so loyal, and so protective towards people that the only thing we share is blood. Yet we're close. Part because we're Mexican and family's important part of the culture, but because we know that since we share the same blood, we've all we got. Being family and being Mexican seem the same identity. However, the identity we never discuss as a family, never think about, and never use to label ourselves is disabled. Many of my family members have physical disabilities, diabetes, heart murmurs, arthritis. You name it, chances are someone has it. We are more open about discussing these physical disabilities we have. Yet, when it comes to mental health and mental disability, well, conversation has never happened yet. Latinos don't talk about mental disability because it's one that's easy to ignore. It's easier to say someone's crazy or that's just who they are rather than talk about it. Truly, it's the stigma around mental disability that keeps us quiet, lacking this conversation. Therefore, I saw this project as an opportunity to talk about at least my speculations on mental health and my family. To do this, I incorporate Frida's work, how peace represents a family member, and generally how Frida represents mental health in the Mexican and Mexican American community. Again, we start with one of my cousins. I've chosen this piece to represent him because there is some silence and shyness to the girl in the portrait. This is my cousin, the same. Is in any case I've interacted with him, whether it's on the phone or in person. He is very often quiet and incredibly shy. Now, I haven't seen him in a few years, so it is possible that he has perhaps grown into his own. Comfortableness with socializing and keeping eye contact with others suggests, I would speculate my cousin is on the autism spectrum. Now on to my next family member, my Tia, my aunt. I have chosen of Frida's pieces, the Frida and Diego, which depicts her wedding. It is known that their relationship was not the healthiest and there was a lot of infidelity. Now that's not the case for my aunt and her marriage, but the health of the marriage is really no better than what is depicted here and what had actually occurred in Frida's life. I don't consider religion a disability. With my aunt, her naivety and dependence on it has put her in a situation where she will never leave this not so great marriage. My next family member is another aunt. I've selected this one for my aunt because it reflects not only the pain Frida endured, but that my aunt did as well, and what may have been a cause for her mental disability. With this aunt, there's a lot that can be said, but the largest part is her hoarding. And this has caused a lot of conflict in the family, in part because she'll steal from others and purchase things that she does not need to. Therefore, I would diagnose or speculate that my aunt has some form of OCD. This next one is for another aunt. And yes, I do have a lot of them. I have selected this one for two reasons, not only because it is a favorite of that aunt, but because it symbolizes the two personalities that she seems to put on with all her family members. In one moment, she could feel your friend, and the next, feel like a threat. This one is the hardest to discuss since it is one that I had only realized about 4 or 5 years ago. In terms of the fact that the aunt that was closest to you is someone you don't even really know. Speculate, this aunt has bipolar disorder. This next piece is for another cousin. This has been the mental disability the family really hasn't been able to ignore. For the last 8, almost 9 years, my cousin has been dealing with depression. It was caused by a lot of things. I think part of his PTSD from the previous marriage he had and the loss of custody over his son. Something that he treasures more than anything in this world. More diligent about taking his medicine, so he's improving and speaking more. So all I hope now is to get to know him, finally. This next piece is for my grandfather. In recent years, we've learned that his brain is slowly deteriorating, which means that the nerves no longer are connected to the rest of the body, so eventually he will have no control over his body. I have chosen this piece by Frida called Weeping Coconuts because she had painted it in the last months of her life. It was showing the deterioration of her body. Despite the fact that my grandfather's taking medicine and we're all aware of it, and despite it being rare, we still don't talk about it. But this one's pretty important. This last other family member that I will be discussing is my grandmother. As I'd mentioned, a lot of my family members have physical disabilities, and with my grandmother, that is no exception. She has a lot. However, mentally, and I don't think we'll ever talk about this as a family, my grandmother is slowly losing her memory and repeating herself, and has been since the passing of my grandfather almost 4 years ago. I can't say whether my grandmother is living with depression or if the memory loss has caused this, but undoubtedly my grandmother's mental health has changed, and not just because of her age. This is the hardest to see because I love her so very much. As I had been diagnosing most of my family, and it seemed a little critical, I figured I would do myself. And as I thought about this project and I thought more about what mental disability I may or may not have, I thought a lot about my OCD and how I have anger issues and my mood can change, and honestly I could go on. But with this piece, the Viva la Vida phrase is what resonated with me. Knowing that shit happens, but it's about what we do with our lives and just keep going until we can't. So, while my family may never talk about mental disability, we at least know we have each other in case that day comes. We'll have each other always.
Viva la vida que ayer